Good day, folks. It's Greg Judy, Green Pastures Farm. I wanted to show you all something. You notice this green spot that steer's grazing on right there? How green it is, and everything else around is brown. It's almost like you put fertilizer on it. And it has not been fertilized. That is an ant mound, a big one. And everybody freaks out, oh, I got ants, I got ants. These are not fire ants. These are just plain old, big old red ants. Now, if it was summertime, there would probably be ants crawling up on that steer's feet, telling him to get out of their home. But it's cold out here. It's gonna snow tonight. But look at why is that area where the anthill is so green and lush? It's because of the minerals and the nutrients that those, oh look, I think he's got an ant in his mouth. That red ant doesn't feel very good, does it, Mr. Steer? I bet they're waking up. Anyway, they're, it's nature's way of telling get out of our home. But if I was a steer, I'd be drawn to this. I just turned them in here. That's why there hadn't been anything to eat this grass yet. He found this little green spot. He's gonna get that grass. But everybody that I know of, when they see an anthill, the first thing they think about is killing it. You know, they go find them some used oil or some kind of nasty, pesticide, and they spray it and kill the ants. Well, folks, for every species that you can make a home for on your farm, and they come in and make a spot on your farm, they support 8 additional ones. So I'm not gonna kill that anthill. I don't know, there's probably, I'm gonna guess there's 8 or 10 of these on this new farm. I am on the new farm that Jan and I bought last year, the one that the developers had bought and was gonna put houses all over. We were able to save 160 acres of it. There's still one 10-acre tract, but it probably will get a house on it. But anyway, this farm's got some of these anthills. I noticed that the first year we bought it, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Most people are like, oh, you gotta go get some oil and pour on that and light it on fire and burn them out. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. There's nothing exciting about living in an environment where it's a monoculture. You only have one thing. And ants bring diversity. They're mining nutrients that would have been locked up in that soil profile. They're bringing them to the top of the ground, and the grass is like, thank you, Mr. Ant. I'm gonna grow some green grass. And then the animals come along on top, like, I think I'll take a bite of that. And then those nutrients that were deposited there by the ants brought up, when the cows eat it, they poop it over there on that spot. And so they're spreading nutrients. That's what they are, the nutrient spreaders. So a lot of people freak out seeing ants. And I guess, if that was a fire ant hill, you sure wouldn't want to walk in there and stand and eat like that steer was. But we're far enough north, we don't have fire ants here in Missouri. I have been in them and on consulting gigs, and I tell you, you get bit by a fire ant, it's like somebody driving a spike in your leg. It's just painful. It's painful. These are red ants, and I'm going to come up here closer now that the steer's gone. And you can see they're working. Now, they were working yesterday. It's cold out here today. See the holes? I mean, this whole thing. They're working. All those little crumbs they see there, that's dirt. And that's minerals that they brought up out of the soil profile. And the grasses are like, oh man, check this out. We're gonna grow like crazy up here. It'd be interesting to plant, well, you probably couldn't plant a vegetable, and you'd have to fence it off or something to eat it. But just the nutrients right here in this one dome that these ants have built. How many years did it take them to build that soil up like that? I mean, it's at least 6 inches taller than the surrounding terrain right here. And it's branched over to here. Here's a little colony. This colony will come together with that one over there. I don't mind that. I really don't. I don't mind it. Again, think of your farm as a spider web of life. The more life species that you can attract and make a home on your farm, I don't care if it's a bobcat, a deer, a rabbit, a squirrel, tree swallows, meadowlarks, I don't care. Snakes, bring it on. Maybe not the poisonous snakes. I am not a snake person. I have a mutual friend, came to our grading school last year, Mac Hollins. He's a professional football player. He plays for the Buffalo Bills, or he did. I think next year he's with the New England Patriots. He got a new contract, a multi-year contract. But anyway, Mac's a heck of a, he's very interested in regenerative agriculture. He's got a farm in Georgia. And he's always seen him posting on Facebook. He's got these big snakes wrapped around his neck, and he's holding them. And he loves snakes. And I think that's awesome. I mean, you couldn't pay me to wrap that snake around my neck. I mean, I'm not doing it. I don't mind seeing a snake as long as he's in a cage or he's at a distance, but I don't want to step on him, and I don't want him wrapped around my neck. So that's why Elson developed that tool to go down in those pits to lock in his water on the quick couplers, because there's rattlesnakes that like to go down in those. You reach your arm down there at night to plug in a coupler, there could be a rattlesnake down there waiting on you. So I get that. I get that. We don't have, I've never seen a rattlesnake on Green Pastures Farm that I know of. I have seen a few copperheads. I've never seen a water moccasin that I know of. So we're very fortunate, I guess, because there are a lot of poisonous snakes in adjoining counties, but you go south, there's lots of copperheads where it's more rocky. I was down on my hands and knees, and I was about a foot from one, and a guy said, "You might want to watch that copperhead right there." That dude was blended in, and literally I was down on my hands and knees working on I think it was a wad or something, and he was standing there watching me, and this guy goes, finally he says, "Greg, you might watch that copperhead right there." I tell you what, I just about had a heart attack. And then in Arizona that time, I was standing right by a rattlesnake. And Micah, same deal. He's a resident there in Tucson, outside of Tucson. He goes, "Greg, you might step away. You got a rattlesnake about a foot from your leg." Oh, gosh. I think my heart about skipped a beat. I got away quick. But I think, most snakes, they just want to avoid you, except for a few. There are some that will come after you. But anyway, I'll get off of snakes and get back to what we were talking about, ants, and why anthills aren't all that bad, and maybe you shouldn't be thinking about killing them, and they can do that to your pasture right there. Look at that. I mean, and folks, I tell you what that is. That's not fescue growing on there. That's brome. That's brome grass. It's got a different color to it, and the leaves are shaped differently. That's brome. And the last landowner, he did have brome growing on here in patches. Pretty darn good brome in some areas. So, yeah, thank you, Brian. Brian took good care of this farm. He never overgrazed it. And unfortunately, when he sold it, it was going to go to houses, but we did get that stopped, and now it's still a working cattle farm. And every time I come out and look across these hills and there's cattle grazing on here, it just, it just makes the heart feel warm that we preserved a piece of ground. Folks, we're covering up our country with houses. And once we do that, we won't be able to grow any food. And I don't know what people are going to do. I mean, you can't grow, cattle in a subdivision. You can't grow crops in a subdivision. We got to have some land left open And I understand, you know, people need a place to live. I understand that. But, you know, I think that's where the subdivisions come in handy outside of your, you know, closer to your larger cities. Don't be spreading it out here where we're growing food at. I don't think we need to be doing that, but I'll get off that horse. Y'all have a good one, and we'll be seeing y'all, some of y'all next week in Toronto. The grazing school is coming up. That's the first 2 weeks of May. We have the advanced school with Ian and I, and then the beginner school the following week with Abram and I, that you can sign up on our website, greenpasturesfarm.net. And I've got that link on the description section of this video. Hope to see some of y'all there. Have a good one.